Okay, we're live on YouTube. Can you put my YouTube channel and website? Sure, you can go ahead and do that. You can share it anywhere you want. That is allowed to do that in this, If it's legal to put it there, no problem. Don't put it anywhere where it is legal or where it would become considered spamming. Okay, guys, let's start. We're on time. How is the YouTube videos going? It's live. It's okay. Great. Thank you. Don't forget to, when you're typing your message, please put the panelists and attendees so everybody see the messages, because I may be answering the question if nobody else beside me see it, right? Okay. Good afternoon, traders, and welcome to our YouTube visitors. Let's start. Dollar index. I hope all of you are having a good weekend, by the way. I just actually made it back. I was outside, so I'm pretty happy I made it back in time for you guys. Let's go. Dollar index. It's still in the consolidation, still going up as we expected. Last week it was here, it was there. Then we keep going up. I'm still expecting them to break the top. Remember, we will always look for a pattern that is a three-wave structure where we break 1, 2, 3. You don't always get it to break the structure at the top, especially if it's going to become a more complicated B-wave structure. That's one option. So let me give you another free piece of knowledge today. This might not break the structure here for two reasons. One, the B-wave is not over. The B-wave becomes more complicated. Then you go finish the whole structure and come back. And second is that we're making contracting flat. And that means it's not going to go there, right? So how do you deal with a situation like that? When you're in a buy, you put the buy to break even, it comes back, take you out of break even. Looks like it's going down now, and most traders say, well, I don't know what to do. And if you don't know patterns, that really freaks you out, right? So it's very simple. I'm going to give you guys the simple solution, not the very complicated one. Just wait. And wait for this to either make a flag here, and if it does make a flag here, you will take one sell, not a fact that this one is going to go break the low. This could stop very short here and go back up. If it does go up, you look for the buy. Right, that's a simple solution. That is, if you don't understand wave pattern, you're not very clear of how things are going to go, you would look for those simple setups to trade, right? Which means if this does go up from here, you will only get it from above here or from here, depending on how the structure goes. Most times you may as well be better staying out of the structure until it's complete, because right now it's very dangerous for you. So for those of you who are in this group, I'll make an assumption, you will not have access to my daily webinar. So you will wait for a flag here, and then you'll go to one sell and you'll take profit. Don't keep the trade, take profit. That is if it goes there. If it doesn't go there and it seems to be turning, you'll have to have a stop loss to get out, or you'll have to put a break-even trade. I still think even if they come here, we're going to go one more up. So understanding how this structure will behave means if we see this trade, you take that one. And that is likely going to happen, not necessarily, but likely. Let's go to it. And while I'm on that topic about, the possibilities of both ways working at the same time. And I think this does confuse a lot of you. Some of you really get freaked out about it, like, oh, he's going to go down, he's selling, you're going to go up, you're going to buy. It's not just that simple. So let me go through that again, especially for those people. When you're in a corrective structure, which means you have an impulse and you're in this correction, I've mentioned that quite a lot. A pattern will form here. Just go with a simple way. A pattern will form there. What that pattern is going to be, you don't know. No one knows. The market is working, and as the market is working, it will create a certain pattern. There are smaller patterns that are created, like this one, and we sold it because we saw that. Like this bigger one, we bought that, we saw that. Like this bigger one, we saw this, you sold that. We saw this bump turning from here to go back up, and at least to come to this stop. So you buy into that. Now you see them breaking that pattern, and you're thinking, what is the next piece of pattern you should see here? And I said the next piece because it's the next piece of what would become the next pattern. And there's so many variations of how this could change that You don't have to know it, and you might likely not know it. There are very few times when it's crystal clear. You can say, okay, it's over. So if we were actually at the top here and we were coming down and you had an impulse like this, I would say a correction like this, I'd say go with that correction all the way to the bottom, because now we'd be looking for a big move. Now we're not looking for that big move because we don't have a complete pattern. We don't have a bigger complete pattern. We do have a lot of complete patterns, but they're very small. They're of lower degrees. So if what I'm saying is confusing the hell out of you, right, that you really can't understand what you're saying, when to buy, when to sell, you just need to go and look at some more of my webinars. Keep looking at them. I'll try to understand patterns. Read the book again. And everybody asks me which book. We're talking about the Elliott Wave Principles. You don't need to take anything out of that except the patterns themselves. And you need to understand how to identify them. Now, that is not easy. It's easier said than done, right? Read the book, look at the patterns, look at my webinar, try to figure it out. If it was that easy, all of you would have figured it out already, right? So it's not that easy. But as the pieces are building, if you have knowledge of wave analysis and you understand how we do it, it's going to be easy for you to follow what I do, at least. Even if you can't identify them yourselves, you probably will be able to see some of them as I show you them developing. So here's a good idea. If you see this correction here, take the trade. If anything else happens in the chart beside that correction, you stay out of it. Right? That's the simple way that you should follow it. If this thing spikes back up to the top there, you stay out of the chart because you don't have a clue what it's doing by that time. Because unless you know and you understand patterns very well and you can tell what is going to happen after that move, then good, you can trade. But if you don't know what's going to happen with this structure after a move like that, then you stay out of it. But if this happens, there's a guarantee one more down before they go up or before they continue to go down. Right? That's the minimum. That's what I can give you now. And that may be short term, and that happens Monday or Tuesday. And after that, you don't know what's happening in the chart. Right? And I've had that case with people. Oh, you said to sell and I sold it. This was going so nice. And I didn't put it to break even. I didn't put some. And now I'm upside down. What should I do with the trade? I was like, didn't I say that trade is a short-term trade? I mean, you missed the part. You just got the part and you got into the sell, but you forget the part that's a short-term trade because that structure is not completed, which means it can turn after making the next impulse. So you guys have to pay attention to that. That's one of the reasons why you still need to learn this stuff, right? Simply by looking at these webinars, you are not going to learn it. You may kind of get an idea. You may grab a little concept. You may be able to see it a little more clearly as I identify. But if that changes during the week, you are not going to get it, right? And then you go like, hey, and I get those messages. Hello, I took your sell. It was going good, but now I'm upside down. What should I do? I'm like, well, did you put a stop? No. Did you move it to break even? No. So what can I do? I can only tell you next where I think it's going to go, and then you have to make a decision whether you're going to close that trade, whether you're going to put a stop on the trade, or whether you're going to wait for it to do something else and then make your decision. So euro pretty much did exactly what we expected to do, go down. But it didn't go down as we expected to go down, because I expected to actually go down much sharper than this and break this low. I'm still expecting it to go break that low. And let me explain this again. It doesn't have to do it. But that's what we are always looking for, to complete the pattern. So here, if you get a little flag here, you buy, take profit. Don't keep this for it to go up. It may or may not go up. If this is a contracting flat wave going up, if it is not and they're making a more complex B wave, it will not go up. Right? So this is what you would have to do. Take the trade, put it to break even if you want to keep it. If you don't want to keep it, take profit. Sorry, pound. Pound went down, and we were expecting it to go down. If you sold from here, you actually did well. It broke out of this structure, went down, made a 1, 2, 3. So the question is, what will it do from here, right? What I'm expecting it to do from there is to make one more drop, at least one more drop. So I'll be looking for a sell setup somewhere here to the downside. Now that is a complex one. This is a very difficult one to do, because there are specific rules and specific setups you need to look for before you get that sell. And if you do get it, it pays off very well, right? In the case that you don't know what to do, and I can't tell you what to do with that right now, because I don't know how it's going to be. I'll be monitoring the behavior in the 15 minutes and in the 1 hour to make a decision whether it's a sell. But it could be a buy for you, which means if I don't get that specific setup for a sell, right? If I don't have that specific setup for a sell, Here is where the buy will come on. You will watch this make a correction like that. And if this correction goes like this, you can take one more buy, take profit. At some point, you got to be careful with that correction because there's a good chance they're going to go down here, right? And we're looking at all of this as a correction that is a running flag, right? Which means this up move fits perfectly into the pattern we're looking at, and that means we should get the downside. This one is we'll just have to wait. So if you don't have the experience of this, wait for a flag for a buy or leave the sell alone because you wouldn't be able to do it. Aussie, and just selling it like that there is dangerous. Aussie is looking very much for one more down, right? We started to see this. We remember this pattern, that was a sell. Watch it for another one. They actually made a bigger one here, and they're going to drop one more. I think one more drop here, but Aussie long-term is upside. So let me show you the Aussie long-term structure we're looking at. I'm expecting this to make one more here, and then we can see this move start going up, right? Because these patterns tend to do that. Not necessarily do that every time, but they tend to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that sell if you get a setup for it and you like it, and that's what your trade is saying. Because remember, these are only my views. So if my view fit with your view and you like this sell and you get a sell setup, take the trade, take profit. Look for the buy setup. It's very rare that from here they're actually going to make the up, but they will probably drop and break this low. That's the worst I think could happen. Drop, break this low, and then turn to the upside. So I will still be looking for the sell first, then anything else. On the break of this structure, I'll look for a buy. So I wouldn't be buying it. If they don't go down, I wouldn't be buying it until they'll break out of the structure, make a pullback, and then go. This would be my buy. Until then, I'm not a buyer as yet. Right? New Zealand, pretty much in a similar structure. We were expecting this pattern to break out. It did go back to the top. If you were following last week, you should have got that trade to the upside. And now it started to consolidate. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Now this piece starts to consolidate, which tells me we're in a more complex B wave structure, and this is not going up as yet. Very likely we're going to see one more low, and then we might start to see upside. So it's just going to go, if you draw two lines like this, you're pretty much going to be oscillating up in here. What some people like to refer to as range trading. Actually, what they're doing is they're making corrective structures. As the correction is happening, it's creating structures. You read into them, and then we decide what to do. So watch this for the upside, right? I think that is super amazing. If you make 698 from one, that is, I wouldn't say that that's everybody could do that, or you could repeat that. I hope it's a lot of trades are not over trading, because that could be dangerous as well, right? But good, you make money, so congrats. Right? If there are a lot of small trades that bring you that money, that is super. I hope it's not one or two big trades with bigger risk. I don't mean big trades, I mean big risk. Because don't over risk. If you get lucky once, you will not get lucky out. But if you did make that money with a lot of trades, that's super amazing. Really good, right? Okay, so that's great. Okay, let's go CAD. CAD is doing exactly as we liked it to do, and we said it's going to do. Watch this CAD going down. It's going down. CAD probably potentially it could go much more downside. I think we're going to break out of the structure, so I hope this week we get it to the bottom here, and then we're going to break out. It's not doing what the second option. Remember, they had two options in CAD last week, right? If all of you remember, the first option is that they will oscillate within this area here, right? And then go up. That was the first option. The second option is they will just consolidate here and go down, right? So we saw the second option. I mean, this wasn't hard to detect that they're consolidating and they're not making a spike up. So if you understand the basics of how we look at wave analysis, you'll probably have seen that, and some of you should have got that trade to the downside. What you need to do now is move your stops in that trade and leave it there to see where it goes. What I think it's going to do, I think we're getting into another consolidation here again. A smaller one, consolidation. They always do that. Probably another consolidation that may be running flat here, kind of something like that, and then go down again. I don't think this is going up big time. It's possible, but I don't see that as yet here. And I wouldn't be buying until this really moves up, make a pullback, something like that, and then go. So I wouldn't be buying until I get, that would be by the end of this week, which means I would not get a buy setup this week. Most likely, if you get a setup or a trade that goes this week, it's going to be to the downside. Swiss, keep going up, but not as aggressive as we expected. And at this point here now, you may want to be careful if you're in the buy, or if you're a buyer from long term, you might want to be careful, because I do think we can start to see deeper consolidation. They might still finish this move, right? If you get deeper consolidation, you go for that move. At this point here at the 1 hour, if they just make a flag here rather than consolidate deep, you could go for this one move and take profit. So let me see if I can show you that here in the chart. If you get this, you go for this move and take profit, because they're going to go up after that, right? So it's the same thing. If you get this, you take this trade and then take profit, because they can go back up, right? If they keep falling, you wouldn't have enough time to take profit, so that would be amazing. So just do that. Yen, upside, right? Remember, the yen was upside. You're supposed to buy the yen here and buy the yen here and buy the yen at this breakout. So if you're buying yen, good for you. Yen is going up. Now, we expected two things last week, that there's possibility that this here is still going to make a running flat and maybe go down. So if you took that short-term sell in here and you got break even, you should be in the buy. If you're not in the buy, don't take any trade until we break this top. I would let this break the top here before you get into any trade. If they're consolidating here, they're going to break out to the upside. That would be a good trade, which means that would mean a continuation of the trade to the upside, right? So if that doesn't happen, you don't have a sell setup until you really see this breakdown to the bottom here. Make a deeper correction and then go. And the sell setup will be very short-lived. This is all you might get before it turns to the upside, because this thing will turn to the upside. So this is like about the third or fourth week I'm saying, watch the yen for buys. For that 4-week, yen really hasn't gone anywhere. So let's go back and look at it. Once we broke this low, we start looking for buys, right? This was a buy, this was a buy, this is a buy. The yen hasn't gone anywhere. You notice it's not going down, right? That we're still looking for those buys, because the yen is not going down. And if it's not going down, there's a potential for it to go up. Now, is this the one that will go? That's always the good question. Should I buy it and keep this? No, you buy it and you move your stops, because this could still come back down here one more and then go up. I would like to see it come here, make a flag, and then sell it. Right? Make this flag in the middle here, and then sell it for one more, take profit, and watch it go up. So I'll take profit here and watch this go up. Basically what you're expecting it to do. So the sell to the downside is limited. And you can see that it's not going down. If you were selling it, you're back to square one. If you were that perfect that you sold it here, you're back to square one, because it's not going down. And what doesn't go down normally goes up. Right? It's very simple. If this is not going down, look at that piece, they're going up. There's a specific pattern in it, just not to get complicated pattern, but that's how we see it. And this doesn't mean it's going to go up. At least now, wait for the break before you take the trade, because if this comes back one more low, they'll tag the low and then go up, right? That would be just a running flat. One of the variations of a running flat that we've seen. XAG, I do think this is going to go one more down before they go up, because we're looking at it. It's going sideways, and I think this might drop one more here before you go up. So we will have to break these lows and then go up. So there's a good chance that you will get one more sell. You might get one more drop like this. If this goes like that, watch for this trade. Take this one, take profit, and start to look for the upside. Right? So watch for that one. Gold. Same structure here. We have this looking, I think I showed it last week. We have a very similar setup here, and we're getting a very similar setup here. And there's a good chance that you will be looking for the downside. So because of that, I don't think you should buy gold unless we break the top. Right? I don't think you should buy gold, risk buying gold, unless you break these tops, because breaking those tops will mean we are actually heading to the outside. And if they're not doing that, this could consolidate here, drop to the low again. And this might be the best trade. It's just in the middle of 2 or 3 different patterns, and none of them is completing it yet. Right? We don't know if this is a complete pattern. I don't think it's completed. We don't know if the biggest structure is completed or this is going to drop. So there's a number of incompleted patterns that are not giving us very clear signals. Right? We don't know exactly how they're going to behave in this piece. So just wait. Your sell setup will come if this goes up first. This one is likely going to go up, this piece here. Then come down. If you get that to sell somewhere here, any flag in there would be a good sell. Buying it here if you get this correction, which means if they make a flag here for the 2-3 days and then you get this trade, buy it back to this top and take profit. Right? You'll buy back to that top and take profit. Let's go. Euros. I think more downside. We were looking for downside last week. It did go. It did spike up here suddenly. You're taking that, so you probably got break even with that spike. Spike it up, come back. We're making some consolidation. Looks like we're going back. I think we're looking downside. Which part of that would be the corrective structure? We'll come back to look at it, but I think I have a very clear version of what it is. And then we'll be looking for downside. So where do you get a downside trade? Let this one come and make a flag here. And then you go for that trade. Right? If they don't make a flag there and they just go sideways at the top, maybe a short-term buy. If they just do this, you can get a short-term buy. Euro New Zealand, we broke out. If you took that trade to the bottom here and you put that to break even or you even took profit, you did well because this was the trade last week. Take this trade to here and then watch it to probably bounce one more up or break. Well, they broke. So I think this might be over. And that means if you get a sell set up here, you take this trade down. Watch it to come break this low. So go to the 1 hour. I think we have a trade set up here. Wait for this to consolidate, break out, make a flag, and then go for the sell. All right? Let the breakout confirm that it is actually going to go down. I think this looks more downside. EuroCAD. So finally, we broke the top. Looks like they're reversing, so here's what I look for. Convincingly for me to take this trade, I want to see this. Make a flag, you sell. Right, that would be a good sell setup if you see that flag. You can see this one is not much of a flag. It's a deep pullback where there were sell setups in here. I think we identified a number of sell setups in there. The ideal one is this one. If you make that pattern, that's the ideal one, right? If they repeat the same structure, you can get a move to the downside. Euro Swiss, same here. I think we're going to get a break to the downside. We just made a much deeper correction. So if you look at this pattern here, you can see that we had 1, 2, 3. We got 1, 2. We may be coming here for 3. Expect one more up and then down. This pattern here is not sustainable. This one is not sustainable. So I think you're going to get back for a bigger correction to this level. So you can wait for this trade. All you need to do is wait for this here that's coming down to probably spike it back or make consolidation. A spike up, you wait for a sell setup from the top. A consolidation, you can sell already. Right? Let's go. Euro yen. Euro yen is a buy setup. And it's giving you another buy setup here, kind of like buy above the top. When they break this top here, then you will, you pay attention to what it's doing. But remember, this whole piece is not looking good now, right? This whole piece here, not looking very good. So just be aware that from that point, they could want to come down. Good for you if you're in the buy and they keep going up, right? If you take the buy and they kept going up, that would be good. So watch this here to see how far it goes. Upside potential is very strong. Euro pound, we're in a big sideways and we're at the bottom of the sideways. That means look for buy setup. That was a short-term sell here. I think you saw that short-term sell. I would wait for this to come out, break, and then go for that trade up. Right? Don't try to sell it here. Might be very dangerous selling at that point. Pangos, let's go. Pangos is consolidating. You made a move down. You're making a move up this week. If we get this consolidation, we look for one more down. So the question, Ben, a number of trades, isn't this going to go back up here? Maybe. Not a good trade. Maybe it's not the strategy you want to trade, because if that goes up there, it just changes what we thought this structure was. And that means that from here, they'll either go make a new high, they're going to come back here and then go. You don't have a buy setup here, and you don't have a sell setup. But if they break this low, that gives you a sell setup. So the sell will be under the low. You'll have to wait for it. The buy is you have to wait for a flag, so you don't do anything on the buy. Euro New Zealand, definitely looking like one more up, right? If you look at the whole structure. Very possible. Watch for that. No sell until they break this structure. Until this entire structure is broken, don't take any sell, but you can look for the buy to the upside. Pound Chief, we broke the top. We're in a daily top. See? So you want to see this break. You want to see consolidation there, and then you want to see this move down. Wait for the breakout. I'd wait for this to come make a flag here and then sell. All right, so this is on the 1 hour. The structure you'd be looking for. I showed you the daily structure, and this is structure you're looking for the sell setup. There isn't a buy setup there. Punkat. So same thing like the dollar cat and a few more cat pairs. If you get consolidation here, you take that up. If this starts to drop, take a sell from here. Peng Yen, that's what Peng Yen is doing. I still think Peng Yen has more to go up. Remember, we had this line last week, and we were saying watch it when it comes to the top of the line. But they're pretty much at the top of the line. We probably could have got this one as well. They're pretty much at the top of the line there. And it looks like me they're trying to turn. It looks to me like they're trying to turn. So we can see for this, look for a flag and sell it back, right? So do we have anything like that in the 1 hour? No. And the 1 hour, this could still go back up. Come back down, go back up, come back down, go back up. You know, like this piece here, if you look previously. Or like somewhere here. See that piece there? Somewhere here, we're about there. So wait for that flag, wait for the flag setup, and then sell. Don't try to buy it at the top. Punkat, maybe some correction is due, and maybe some bigger correction. Sorry, that's the Aussie CAD, right? Aussie CAD, we were actually waiting for this to go make the upside. We're waiting for this to actually make that upside here. You want a big correction, a 4-hour or a daily correction here. And then we will all sell this on the daily structure because there's a big move to the downside to come, right? And it could go really big. We think we can get all the way to this area here. So we want that to prove that it's going to go down by making that big correction. So if you get a short-term buy setup here, might be worth taking. Short-term buy setup here. And if you get that, go up here, you can take the trade and then see how far it goes. As a short-term trade, you'll have to take profit out of it. Aussie Swiss pretty much broke out, come back down. Nothing there. You didn't get the buy entry because there wasn't a setup. It just broke out and came right back down, right? So this does look upside. See? We did make that move up. We started to do this. This could go one more up. Aussie New Zealand. Same here. You're getting a consolidation. One more trade down, and then a very small trade to the downside. You look at it, you're getting a lot of divergence in the 4-hour and the 1-hour. So even if you get a trade to the downside, it might be short-lived. And then up. Aussie yen. Like all yen pairs, they're showing some more downside, or they're going to show breakout. So you buy this if it breaks out here. Or if this come back here, you'll have to wait for a flag to get a trade to this level and then up again. Right? So two options of how this could develop. One of those two options are going to go. This one here, right? Or we get a turn to the upside and you buy above the top. Sounds like a bit tired. A little tired, not that much. I travel a lot this morning. I woke up pretty early and travel. But you guys can get it clear, right? Or do I have to raise my voice so that I can do that? Right? So could be a little there, right? I hope it's okay. It's okay for everybody though. You can get it. It's clear. Great. Let's go. New Zealand yen. Let's go to New Zealand yen. Okay, New Zealand yen. This is an easy one, right? I think this one is easy. I'll take this off because I think we're going to get one more trade to the upside here. This is pretty easy. Don't do anything else except buy if they break here. If this goes down, don't trade it. It's probably going to do this, and then you'll get the buy from here, right? But you're going to get one more up, at least one more up, and then we'll see what happens. Take profit. Don't keep it because until they break the daily structure. When they break the daily structure, then we'll take and keep when they break out of the structure. So what you're going to expect is what you had here. See this break? One more, right? One more. So this I think is going to do. If they crawl down deeper, right? You'll just get this trade and then one more. But take the break anywhere. And if they keep making shorter one, you can still take trades to the upside, all the way back to the top here, and then we'll see. Right? To the downside, the trade setup is not a good one. You shouldn't be trading it until it really, really gets, break this structure actually. New Zealand CAD, let's see. I think I was asking everybody to stay out of this last week. I think you should stay out of it this week, but it might happen this week, and that means you should keep a track of the trade. This could break out, and if this breaks out to the upside, you want that trade. So you wait for a smaller correction here to get the trade to the upside. If this piece here is going to go down with this structure, they will have to come here, don't consolidate, reverse back, make a consolidation here, and then that becomes a very big sell. So let me just go back with this piece for you. This is coming up and it's likely going to do that. When it gets here, you have to wait for a consolidation to buy or let it reverse without consolidating. Make any consolidation here and then you sell. A big trade is about to come either to break that top or to break this low. Either way, you're going to get a very good trade. So you can keep your eyes on this right now. New Zealand Chief, what is this doing? New Zealand Swiss. kind of look upside, right? We're expecting this to go more up, but it's just going sideways, right? Just stay out of it. And on the higher, did not go. It's in a big sideways move and it's not going anywhere. So if you took this trade, this was a trade you had to take. If you took that, I hope you made profit, right? Watch it. We broke the top. They're coming down back. Look for a sell short term. It's a short term sell too, right? Wait for this to make a flag here. Let me see if I can find a flag like that. Something like this, but to the downside, and then trade it down to this level. So just you need a flag there for a sell setup. CAD yen, look for buys. I think we're going to go up much more. I don't see this coming down anytime soon. Right? They're going to go slowly, but they're going to go up. So wait for this flag, look for buy setup. On the 1 hour, you're already making a nice correction there for upside. Swiss yen, short term, this does look like one more downside, right? In the short term, we broke, it didn't go, it pulled back, it's still looking like this. I think short term, they will try to break this low and then go back up, right? The upside in this structure is not changed. So if you're buying and you're buying to the second you're buying, your second buy in this and it didn't go, don't worry, right? If this comes stack one more, you're gonna go up, right? Because sometimes they do something like that. See this piece here? If you were trying to buy this breakout, you got that, came back, make a low, and then go up. So they can make a new low here, make this into this pattern, go back up there, and then this move should take off. So if you're gonna get a sell set up here, it's very short term, very, very short term. So you'll have to be very careful with this downside. I think, if you get a good sell setup, take it. You know how to move your stops, then take profit once it breaks the low. More like this. Stay out of the CAD, chief. It's pulsing, and that means you want a deeper correction before you go. I can see them doing something like this here. And then upside, right? A much deeper correction here and then start to go up. Look for the buy setup somewhere here. I don't think you will get this sell. Right? They can open with a gap or something. So I don't think the sell is going to be a real one, but you can get the buy. By the way, long term, it's upside. Just in case you want to know that, right? The long term trade is upside. So if you're not in the traders yet, wait for that deep pullback and then take the trade to the upside. All right, let me show you an example. Okay, let's skip that. I was going to show you an example of what I was looking at, but that will confuse a lot of you, especially if you're new traders. So we'll just leave it at that point. In my traders who are experienced and who learn this stuff sometimes get confused with those running flats because they're dangerous, right? So watch this here. Come back one more. You can take this trade here. Short term, take profit. If they break this structure, make a flag, buy to the breakout, buy for the breakout. They'll break out of this structure, right? So this one right now, we're still expecting copper to make one more up and break that top. But as you can see, it's not ready to go. This is a very similar structure to this one. See this here? If you look at those two structures, you'll see the similarities. You had this to move up here. You're getting this one coming down. And we were expecting that. So maybe they'll make one more low and then go. All right? Keep your eyes on it. US oil, downside, nothing new, right? Remember I said we followed this very nice. It's gonna, from this piece, it's gonna go, maybe break the top, maybe not. They didn't break the top, and that's good news for you. That means we're gonna come to break this low now, right? So why we're looking for this to come back here. This is a classical flat. They might come all the way. They could come all the way to the trend line, and then we'll look for more upside, right? I'm not expecting them to break this and go very far downwards, right? In rare cases, we're gonna see the absolute turn to this thing to the downside. Look for a sell setup, right? Okay, Isaac, don't pressure anybody to do anything. Just wait. Let's finish the webinar. I think the guys will go look at the YouTube videos and decide their mind later on. Everybody in here will share it. I think we'll get 100 shares later. So let's finish the webinar. Let's go. 1 hours. UK oil. Same here, same downside move, but they might make a consolidation. Just wait for it to finish and then get that trade. Put an in short if you think it's going to break and go. We're expecting them to come at least break this low and then up again. This is not changing. This one is going very well. Natural gas, short-term upside. You're getting a buy setup here, but it's short-term. This one, they come just about the short-term trade. It's in a big consolidation here, and we're not sure what this pattern will be as yet. I don't think it's the start of the upside, but you take the buy just in case. Right? Take the buy just in case, and then see where it goes from there. Right? Can get a break-even trade. S&P 500, we're still in the consolidation, and nothing new here. This one was from here. I don't know why it moved. I still think we can go tag the low, but I don't think that would be all the correction. This, as it stands, will not be all the correction. It's too short in time. So on the daily structure, I think we'll be going sideways for a longer while. But if you're in a sell, see this one is, even this one is much bigger than that. You can see it, right? So I think this might be one leg of the structure, which means we can see this actually come down like this. Take the trade, sell it, and then you might start to get up, move again. It's going to be bigger than that one. I think we're looking at a structure that would be more like this. Maybe even more like this here. See that? More like this. Bigger downside, bigger upside, and bigger downside. We have finished some smaller corrections in there already, right? Finish a whole set of corrections in there. You can see that. So daily, I don't think this is going to be a small correction. I think it's going to be a big correction. So you want to probably take sells. It's going sideways. If you get a sell setup, take it, move it to break even or take profit. It's not going to go very aggressively down, right? So you'll probably see this drop. You'll see this. You'll see it drop. You'll see that. You'll see it drop. You'll see, you might get things like this, and then you can start to see it go back up, right? So take these trades if you get those setups. If they consolidate within this zone here alone, which means they don't drop, they just reverse. Well, or they drop and don't consolidate, reverse. They make consolidation, go up, buy it short term. Make a next consolidate, go up, take short term profit because they can go sideways in here for a while. Right? Which pattern is we're eventually going to see here, we don't know. Right? Depends on how the market will be reacting in the oil price. But whatever the market does, it doesn't matter what the market is going to do. Whatever the market does will create a pattern. When they're in consolidation, if the market is in a phase of, let's put it this way, some call it accumulation, some call it consolidation. Put it very simple. The market is trying to figure out the direction it's going to go. The traders are positioning themselves for where they're going to go. And I mean the big players, like they're trying to figure out what is happening in the market. Nobody's buying and selling, but transactions are still happening. Nobody's doing big transactions. They're doing normal daily transactions that is needed for it to, the market to still move. So with those daily transactions, you're going to see up and down, up and down, up and down. But people will be buying because they think it's going to go up or because they think it's going to go down, right? They will buy or sell depending on what their views are. And that action of buying and selling based on your view, you're not literally trying to translate your view to the rest of the world. You're just, okay, you think it's going to go more down. So every time you get a sell opportunity, you sell a little. And then you get out of the market because, if you're one of the big players, you're not sure it's going to go down, right? Or you think it's going to go up, so you buy a little and then you sell back and you wait to see what it's going to do, right? Like you're trying the market to see if you're going to get it there. Because you're trying to figure out where everybody is going, where are the big orders. That whatever action you're doing there because of whatever views you have will start to create a pattern. And once we understand that pattern, once we see that pattern, the pattern will inform us way before time, what exactly is the market trying to do? Or which direction this market is likely going to go, which means more people's views are changing towards one direction and they started behaving a certain way in the market. They started buying and selling a certain way. They started trading a certain way. And because of their trading habits, what we see they do, we figure out, oh, these guys are preparing to do this next, right? And it's a very high probability that's exactly what happens, right? Here's a good example. Let me see if I can just bring this back. When this started to happen and we saw it, I think most of you may have seen this chart. So I'm just showing it for those people who have never seen it. If you go on the monthly chart, that was exactly what we said, right? We look at the entire structure it was. And it's not here probably. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere I've posted that if you remember, right? It's on the monthly or it's on the weekly chart. Let me see if it's on the weekly. I don't see those things anymore. It's definitely not on the daily. I remember it was a monthly or weekly where I posted this chart. And what I said is that I was on the monthly, but I don't know where it is. And all those are gone. They don't keep them on the charts anymore or something. They disappear. What I said was look for this thing to consolidate about 10 months. You can find it. It's probably still somewhere on trading. If they didn't remove it, right? It's still there. From 6 to 10 months and then go back up. Because what we started to see is how the market started to behave, the structural behavior of how this thing is going down and up. And you know that is not the long-term trade. That's not going to fall. People were thinking this thing is going to fall. When this happened, they thought this was going to fall. When this happened, they thought it was going to fall. And the market is not falling because you can see what the traders were doing. If you understand how to read the market, you actually can see what they were doing. They don't have to tell you what they're doing, but they're doing something, right? And what they're doing is registered in the chart. It's literally like every time I buy something anywhere or I sell something anywhere, I create a chart, put a dot on it, and give it to you. I think after time, you pretty much have a very good idea of my buying patterns. I don't know, let's say I buy food because I eat food every day. You will have a good idea of where I buy food. You know what food I like to eat. You'll probably know, what time I buy food. You'll probably have a good idea what time I'm going to buy again and what volume of food I'll be buying, right? So if you plot your actions on the chart and people can read it correctly, after time, they will be able to tell what's happening. It's the same thing. It's a mass amount of, data being plotted here. And we try to figure out what the market will do using that data. That creates a specific pattern. These patterns are known because we study the chart, we look backwards, we figure out these patterns, we understand how they develop, we understand what they look like, we understand how they're going to behave. And then we said, okay, let's just wait for the timing when they're going to do it. We wait for specific things to happen, and then we trade. It's that easy. It's not that difficult. Right? It's that easy. It's not like the market is going to make an ABC. I sometimes even hear people who are actually considering themselves to be like, gurus in Elliott wave theory say, okay, I'm waiting for the market to make an ABC. No, the market does not make an ABC. The market is not going to primary school. The market is making a specific pattern. That could be an ABC, a WXYZ, a triple tree, whatever. It could be so much different variations of what it's going to make. So you can't just specifically say the market is going to make 1, 2, 3 and go up, especially with people who draw things like this. I have this, I got this, I got that, I got this, and then I'm expecting the market to go. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then people who don't believe in wave patterns said, oh, well, that looks crazy to me because the market is not necessarily going to do an ABC and then go up, right? And they have a point. If you didn't believe in this stuff and you just look at that type of drawing that they're posting, you're like, oh, yeah, you got to be crazy because that's not what the market is going to do. Or even if they did that once, it's not going to do it every time, right? It's more of what is distinctively that pattern, every specific pattern in the market is telling you. And there's so many variations of it to even one pattern, right? You look at flats, and most alliters say a flat is a three-wave pattern. You got an impulse, you got a three-wave pattern, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go up. But I would challenge a lot of you to find flats like that in the market. Good luck. You might find 1 or 2 or 10, probably. There are so much variations of that simple flat pattern. I'm not even going to go into the variations of the running flats, which is more than the variations of the regular flat, or the variations of the expanding flats. Variations does not mean you cannot see them. Variations means you have to know them all. And that is what we do. We study them all, we figure them out all, we understand them, we know them, we look at the behavior and say, okay, we see this. This is what we expected to. And we could trade them short term. Even while those consolidations are happening in a daily or a 240 or charts, or which is a 4-hour chart, we could trade them. We've been trading this thing, as you can see, right? We've been identifying these patterns perfectly. We identified this one perfectly. We identified this one up here. We identified the downside, and we're telling you this thing looks like it's probably going to do one more and then go. We're waiting for the setup. So just make a flag here, you sell. If it doesn't, let it do what it's doing. You don't have a buy setup until we see a buy setup, right? Almost 90% of the B waves are complex. Depends on what time frame you look at them. So if you think it's going to make two straight lines, one down, one up, one down, or three straight lines, and you're going to trade, you're going to end up losing your account, or you will not believe that this thing works. Remember, it's more complex than what you can get out there. So simply reading the book is not enough. You're not going to learn it by reading the book and start labeling ABC all over the place, right? Next. This is one of the complex patterns you're seeing, right? And it's still in correction. I do think we're going to get some more upside here rather than downside, but we'll have to wait and see what pattern comes out here. The bigger picture, I can tell you, is going to be downside. Because based on what we already have, we know that the bigger picture will be downside. We just don't know how this one is going to behave. Is it going to be like that, or is it going to be more like this? And then downside. And by the way, there is one that is happening like this right now. I don't know how many of you are paying attention to what I'm doing, but there is a chart that is behaving very similar to this, right? Kind of like go up a little and then come back here, and we're expecting it to make an up and then go. See, some of you are paying attention, right? Europong. The first person to write Europong got it. See, you're paying attention, so you're learning, right? That those complex patterns, you start recognizing them, right? Aussie New Zealand is doing similar, but not exactly what I draw here, but it's making a very big daily complex pattern. But the Europong is the exact one I was going to show you. So these patterns, they repeat themselves. Is this going to repeat the Europong, or is it going to be a simpler pattern? And the simpler pattern is this would come up here and then start to fall. That's the simpler form of this pattern. Or is it going to be the complex form of the same pattern? You see? It's not impossible to do, guys. And sometimes you just wait it out. Sometimes you trade internally, take short trades. You know, like you're bored, you sit there in 15 minutes and you pull a short trade out of it, and that's it. We pull a lot of short trades out of the Europong up and down. Or sometimes you're like, I'm going to wait this out and take the long trade. Right? It's all but you can do it. That's the whole point. It's doable because you can see what they're doing. They cannot hide what they're doing from you. Let's put it this way. They cannot hide what they're doing from you because it's plotted on the chart. If you buy, it's on the chart. You can't hide it. It's there. So you're buying, the way you're buying and selling, we can see. We just don't, if you don't know to read, you may not know what you're planning to do. But once we start to see all of that together, we will have a very clear idea of what the market is going to do. DJI, also consolidation, and I think this one is going to go up first. They're going to bounce around in here. I think this could come back here, and then we're going to look for this upside, and that might be it before they fall. Right? This would be a flat there, a regular running flat or an expanding flat in there. So one of that will happen, and then downside. Can it be a running flat that has an extension? And let me see how many of you are paying attention. Can this be a running flat that will look like this and then go down? Not my traders. How many of you saw a pattern like that? Not my traders. My traders know where it does. How many of you see a pattern like that? Not the yen. It looks like this. Euros. See? Very soon you guys will almost see all the patterns. Not all of them, but you have a very clear origin. And the problem is, how do you know which one is going to form? And the good question is, you don't have to know which one. That's the whole thing. You don't have to know which one. You see, I can already tell you what my anticipation of these patterns by the way they start behaving. And if you know that, you have an advantage how you can trade each one of them. You can go internally and see those behavior. And once you start seeing that behavior pattern of it doing this or doing that, you can start trading the little bits and pieces, until you grab the whole concept. Yeah, Nifty is doing the same thing. So you see, that's the whole point. The idea of giving you the edge is the basis of knowledge, not the basis of an ABC or 3 lines that somebody draw in the chart. Or I like to see these guys, draw a lot of. Let's not even go there. It's a nice day. Watch these guys. You got to learn them. They're complex. And they're not that easy to recognize, but you can do it. That's the whole point, right? You can learn to do that. It's something you can learn to do. It's learnable. Nifty, very similar. See that? Very similar. What we said, watch for it to break. So if this one breaks to the upside, what are the chances this one is going to break to the upside? See? They're very similar. Not exactly. They're not making exactly the same. Like I said, even these patterns have a number of variations of how they develop. We look at each one and decide what variation we think we're going to get in this one, or what variation in the other one, and that's how you trade. Right? Nifty probably go a little more up, and then you can see one more down. If you get a buy setup, take it. Short term, take profit. Singaporean, if you're trading it, we're going up, but I think we'll also go down. It's a big consolidation in the making here. You can start seeing that already, right? Really big consolidation in there. Let's go. Bitcoin, for those of you who want Bitcoin. Same here. If I show you this, you can already predict the pattern. You don't even need me to do that anymore. You see the impulse, and you start to see that consolidation coming, and you start to see, what can it do here? Yes, this could go one more down. And if it goes one more down, it is going to go up, right? If you get a sell setup, take it. Do you have a buy setup? You should have been in the buy already. You should have been in the buy twice. You should have been in the buy in this one, which could have been a break even, or you should have been in the buy in this one. See that one going up, or you could be in the buy here. When it comes to this level, if they're going to drop one more, like this one here, for example, I think this one is more like that. If you see that pattern and they drop one more, you'll get a setup like that to sell, get a setup like this to sell. Sell, take profit, look for upside. I am not expecting them to break that low, but if they break that low, they will be giving me some very important information. And that would be amazing for trading. I don't think it's going to go up totally. I get this question from a lot of you. Are we going to go break the top? As this pattern stand here, no. I'm still expecting it to make more corrections in here, probably go back down and then go up. This would be the simplest form of a regular flat. Is it going to make a regular flat? Who knows? I don't know that. You don't know that. And we don't need to know that. We need to get this piece if it happens. If that piece happens, oh, that is all you need for now, right? What you can expect in the long term? My account for the last, well, I can tell you the account I'm trading for 6 months, not 12 months, grew, I think, about 46, 47%, somewhere there. I can tell you about my traders who are trading much smaller account. About 3 of them already showed me they doubled their account, and one of them is 95%. I had a meeting with him only in Dubai 2 days ago. Right? Those are the ones I know of. There are a lot of traders in my group who just don't tell us. They just make money and they don't tell anybody what they do. We don't have it compulsory that they have to do that. There is no compulsory thing that all our traders, but we do take polls every now and then on what our traders are doing. And 60% on average, we always get 60 to 65 who are making profit consistently. There are 40% that they on and off. They make profit sometimes. They don't make. 1 week they're profitable, another week they're still learning. But they will get there. Because what we do is if there's any trader in the group who is consistently losing, we do one-on-one with them. I do one-on-one, my senior traders do one-on-one. We attach them to people to help them do one-on-one, so that we do that to successful traders so that they can learn. So our job is to get the whole group successful. Now, is that accomplishable thing? I don't know if we can accomplish that. I doubt we can accomplish it, but we never give up. That's a good thing about the group. We have over 200 very, very active traders who never give up and helping each other get better, right? So if you're one of the struggling traders in our group, you send me a message. You can ask first in the group for help, and then somebody who is in your time zone is going to help you. And then if you still need help, you send me a private message. And I normally deal with the traders who are really getting drawdowns on their account, right? Those who are getting like 50%, 40, 20% drawdown, I try to deal with them so I can bring it back up, right? Those are the people. But I still think we can't reach 100%. It's just not going to happen. I don't know anything that happens for 100% and that is sustainable. But if we can make it to 80%, I'll be pretty happy with that. Which means if 80% of all the people who take my course could be consistently successful trader, I'll be really, really happy. 60% is good, but doesn't make me really happy. 80% will make me really happy. The 20% will make sure they don't lose their account. And it doesn't have to be 70% the same traders, because we're taking new traders all the time, right? But that's how it goes. That's much better than the 90% who are losing their account on other things, right? I think that 60% success than 90% losing is much better. So you make a choice. You want to learn this stuff, or you want to learn a simpler thing where you wait for it to break a line and you buy. That's always the choice every trader should make. I don't promote or sell courses much in my webinars. I didn't use them to do that. But I always say to people, you have to make the decision. And I don't think anyone with less than a year experience in trading should even try to buy any course, including mine. You should not buy a course because it's not going to help you. Any course that you can buy that will help you that you're less than 1 year experience, you can get it for free. It's all over the internet. All that stuff you can get for free. Start with babypips.com. Go read elliottwave.com. Read all this, look at all the free webinars. Not only mine, look at all the free webinars you can find it. And then you start filtering them. You will filter and filter and filter until you yourself, after a year, you will select what is good for you. After a year, you will be educated enough to make an educated decision what you want. Right? That is the whole point. You will be able to make that decision after a year. You cannot make that decision if you're 2 months in trading. Come on, all of you have been through this. 2 months in trading, you know nothing about trading. I don't care how smart you are, you know nothing about trading. You don't even understand you don't even understand the basic terminologies and what they mean. Right? I was talking to some of my traders this week, and one of the simple things came up. I think all of you have heard it. Buy low, sell high. And I challenge any one of you to tell me what that means on the chart. Right? I challenge any one of you to show me that on the chart. It's easier said than done. We can all say, hey, let's buy low and sell high. The problem is, what is the high and what is the low? How many of you really thought this was the high? Let's get some honesty. That's the whole point. How many of you thought that was the high? We know for sure. Over 99% of traders who trade Bitcoin didn't thought that was the high. Oh, this thing is going to go, man. We're going to see 40,000 next, and then 50,000, and then 60,000, and then 100,000. And when I was warning them, I started warning you from 18,000, from 15,000. Be careful. You're at the top, right? I keep saying you're at the top. Be careful. If you take a trade, let it be short term. You don't want to be the last person out. If you were in my webinar at any one point of time, you heard that. Be careful. This thing will not go forever, right? It's going to make a deep pullback. And people were like, no, what this guy is talking. There were actually 2 trolls. We had a reward out for them who were specifically trolling my chart for this. Like, this guy is crazy. From 15,000, he says, no, it's not going to go much more. Look, it went to 20,000. That's the top. This was the bottom. That is the top. Look what happened to you if you bought there. Hey, what is this number? You want to check it back again? It's not 15,000. Doesn't look like 15,000 to me. And this is not the bottom. I'm telling you now, that's not the bottom. You see? So it's easier said than done. Let's buy at the low and sell at the high. You want to show me where is the highs and the lows? You don't know, right? Does wave analysis apply to, oh, yes, it does. It applies to any market that you have a mass amount of people trading into, right? It's not, wave analysis is how you read the charts. It's how you understand what is the next possible move in the charts, right? That's what we teach you to do. So you start recognizing these patterns. You start understanding how they will behave. Basically, that's what it is, right? And then you can make your forecast. So when we see something like this going on from here to there, you know that, hey, you know what? Take it easy. It has to come back here and probably even go lower. They're going to consolidate in here. They're going to come back to 16,000 maybe. Yes, they could see 17,000 even possible. But once they come back to this area here, the next big surprise is coming, right? So somebody was saying, another person, why are you saying we should buy Bitcoin now? Now, you were saying Bitcoin is dangerous. I'm not saying Bitcoin is dangerous. I'm saying when it's this high, that's the top. It's going to come back here. And now it's in consolidation. Short-term buys are possible, right? Miss Julia. Julia is in the room. Julia is in the room. Julia, you're getting missed, girl. Right? So let's go. So, Ripple. Where is this going to go? This doesn't take a lot of, I mean, if you guys have followed me for a couple months, this doesn't take a lot of, to tell you where it's going to go. You want me to show you where that thing was looking similar? You want to see where you were seeing a similar kind of pattern like that here? See that similar kind of structure, especially in this piece here. Not even this bigger one, this piece here. See that? And you see that correction? You see what happened? That short piece, this. What do you think they're doing here right now? See? You start figuring out these patterns and you start seeing them. You're going to learn what it's going to do. Can this go down a little more? Of course, I think it's going to go down a little more. In the 1 hour, I think you might even get one more drop. But the question is, where are you on the bigger structure? What you expect it to do? So in the 1 hour, sure, you had a little one there. You get a bigger one here. You got a little sell setup there. You're getting another sell setup here, possible. Right? Possible. But do you want to go here now, or you wait for the bigger trade when it breaks up? That's the question. Go back to the higher chart and see which. Are you going to try to buy the very last drop to the downside? You may get unlucky, and that may happen so fast that you lose that trade rather than win it, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go for this one. Right? That's what you're going to go for. You don't want to go for this little piece at the bottom there, because you know how fast that's going to finish. You want to get the next big trade to the upside, which is this one. That's the whole point, right? Let's see. Let's do 1 or 2 more charts, and then here's a nice chart you may want to look at. Our traders showed. One of our traders brought this. I think you can look at this one or you can look at this one. Both are the same thing. See? We wanted to come back here, and then there's a big sell setup for you. That's bonus for all of you. By the way, a gift from one of our traders, because I wasn't looking at this until he showed me. Wait for that consolidation there and then wait for this trade down. So that's a free gift to all of you for being here today. If you can trade this, you can make a lot of money, right? This is what it looks like in a weekly. I think now it becomes easy for you to see, right? You got this, you got that, you look for this, and this is your trade. See? So I leave you guys with a gift. That's a good way to end the webinar, right? A perfect way to end the webinar. Complimentary of my group, because that's not from me, that's from the group. Somebody in the group. I don't know, the person may be in here or so. I don't know who brought it. I can't remember who brought it up, right? But it's from our group. So learn to trade patterns. My traders are recognizing patterns even when I don't look at those charts, right? This didn't come from me. This come from a trader. He said, hey, you want to see this pattern? This one is amazing. I was like, let's look at it. And I saw it. I was like, wow, you guys are doing great, right? So that's for the question the guy's asking, how are the traders doing? Some of them are getting better than me, right? They're seeing stuff very nicely. So, okay, guys, I think all of you are having a wonderful weekend. And as some of my traders are asking you to go like and go share. I don't think the like is that important, but I want you to share it. I don't really care so much for the like. I care for you to share it, because when you share it, somebody else is going to learn something, right? There are a lot of traders out there who are still being scammed in the market. Let's save them from losing their money. There are people who are told that if you don't know anything, you're the best trader to buy my course. People who sell courses and say, yeah, I want people who haven't learned anything is yet to take the course, because now you're going to learn free. And that's not true. That's such a big lie. They just think that you know nothing. So whatever they teach you with support and resistance and those crazy stuff, for the money they teach you, you're gonna, as if you're gonna learn that, and that will just make you lose your account eventually. So the best thing is spend the 1 year, spread the message of, if you're new in trader, don't buy any course. Take at least 1 year to learn it for free, right? Each impulse and correction is followed by another impulse. So how, when we think the pattern has finished, because it has to be reversed. So in that case, pattern is not finished by last impulse. I don't think, I'm trying to figure out what you said, but I don't think you have a very clear vision of what impulse and corrections are. I think you were misinterpreting how to read impulse and correction, right? So that is where your issue is. If you have to learn what is an impulse, what is a correction, how to recognize them, how many impulses there are in a corrective structure as well. And, it's very complex if you can do all of that, right? So help share the videos. That's all I'll ask of you to do. If you like it, share it. Help somebody else see if they like it. So, okay, guys, everybody, have a wonderful weekend still. There's still time for that. Take care to people on YouTube. Thank you for coming. As well, and I will see all of you next week. I'll see my traders in the group tomorrow. See all of you next week. Take care. Have a good week. Bye-bye.